Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today we take a break from our usual content to have a discussion about commander brackets. Mind you, the system is still in beta, but we're getting more and more info as time goes on. In order to discuss these brackets, I have for you 4 deck lists. We won't be going over any of them in any detail, just a high-level discussion, but they are linked down below. And yes, all of them are Kess decks. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Let's discuss our commander first. Kess, Dissident Mage, is a 4-mana 3/4 legendary human wizard with flying. During each of our turns, we may cast an instant or sorcery spell from our graveyard. If we do, when that spell resolves, we exile it instead of putting it into our graveyard. 2 things all commander players want to do is draw cards and ramp. So when you have a commander that provides card advantage, in this case the ability to recast a spell from the graveyard, that means she could be powerful. If we're at a CEDH table and someone counterspells our demonic consultation, we can just cast it again to win the game with Thoracle. But we're not really here to discuss Bracket 5. I am not an expert at that, but I do know the other 4 fairly well. Which is why I have 4 commander decks for you today, along with an in-depth discussion of each bracket. But before we get to the rest of our video, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard is made famous by their boulders, solid, reliable, and affordable deck boxes. Boulders are now available in solid colors like this beautiful green one seen here. Find out if your local game store carries the new Ultimate Guard solid color boulders, or click on the link down below to order yourself one from Amazon. This is for exhibition. The goal of these decks is to prioritize a theme. We are doing it for the memes, not the wins. Now, some pods will allow you to play silver-bordered cards or various other cards that are silly and fun. You are here to show off your fun deck, not to win. In other words, you better pass the vibe check. The Bracket 1 Kess deck I built has 1 creature, Kess. We have 40 lands plus 2 MDFCs, and 59 instants and sorceries. No tutors, nothing on the Game Changers list. There are no mana rocks, no magecraft creatures, no planeswalkers that care about us copying spells. There's no Thousand Year Storm in this deck. Lands, instants and sorceries, and our commander. Yes, it can win the game with cards like Crackle with Power or Rise of the Dark Realms, but honestly, we're just here for the memes. Draw, land, go. Core, or Bracket 2, are decks that aren't perfectly optimized. Creativity is valued, and the game is more about being social than focusing on crushing your enemies, seeing them driven before you, and hearing the lamentations of the women. Normally on this channel, I talk about having a checklist. In that checklist, I talk about wanting 8 to 10 pieces of interaction. I've been thinking lately that if a deck has a lot more interaction than that, say 13 or more, the deck isn't really a Bracket 2 deck. You want your deck to have weaknesses. You are not building for power. Power matters, but memes are more important. It is important that your deck have restrictions, which is why this Kess deck is budget. The whole deck is about $90. We could go cheaper, but I wanted some fun cards in the deck. We win by creating infinite copy loops and having Professor Onyx or Rowstorm Conduit on board. Yes, it is an infinite combo, but it's a 3-card combo, not a 2-card, so calm down. We could also win with Thousand Year Storm and the myriad of ways that card can cause chaos. But our win cons are on the table. We're also not winning on turn 3 with this deck. Upgraded is a step beyond Bracket 2, and it is a big step. We can run up to 3 Game Changers, and most of those are pretty expensive. Most Game Changers are around $50. Yes, I know, not all of them. But a good portion are. You can win the game suddenly, violently, and all over the place. Lots more interaction than you see in Bracket 2, but there are still some restrictions. Because we're limited on Game Changers, most of those are going to be game enders. So, this version of the deck, we've mainly upgraded the land base. The Bracket 2 version of this deck also had a few token generators, but we've replaced those with Game Changers and additional interaction. We are still wanting to win with an infinite copy stack or a Thousand Year Storm combo, but now we have tutors to find those win cons. I believe that Bracket 3 decks are what most players have in mind when they think Commander. These are the upgraded precons, the favorite archetype, the pet decks. You've taken a deck you love and turned it to the point that it is playable, but not overbearing. No, that's more for the next category. The biggest difference between Bracket 4 and CEDH is budget. CEDH is a lot cheaper, because generally the CEDH community doesn't care about running proxies. CEDH also doesn't care about personal preferences. You need to run the best cards in the game in order to be competitive, on top of knowing both your deck and the other major strategies. Similar to competitive Modern or Standard Tournament. But Bracket 4 doesn't care about the meta. We want the craziest, most powerful version of a casual deck that we can possibly run. Which is why this version of the deck is $1,000. We have a ton of game changers in our deck, but I didn't just add them willy-nilly. We've also got a Wheel of Fortune, so we can do the Underworld Breach Jeska's Will combo, digging through our deck while filling our graveyard. Now, we're not running the Thoracle combo in this deck. Instead, I thought it would be funny to add Displacer Kitten, so we could flicker Kess a bunch of times and cast whatever we wanted from our graveyard, instead of having to wait to do it every turn. Okay, I know I'm going to have some questions down below about two specific combos that I've mentioned over and over again in the video, so I wanted to go over those before moving on. The first is the copy strategy. Basically, when you copy a copy spell with another copy spell, you can create an infinite stack of copied spells. Now, when they all resolve, you only get 3 copies of whatever spell was first copied. I'll give you an example. I cast Preordain. Then, while holding priority, I cast Reverberate, targeting the Preordain. While maintaining priority, I then cast Expansion, targeting Reverberate. The copy of Reverberate copies Expansion, which copies Reverberate, which copies Expansion, so on and so forth. This creates an infinite deterministic loop. Now, when they all resolve, I only have 3 copies of Preordain, the original and the 2 copies. So, how does that help us win the game? Enter Professor Onyx and Ralstorm Conduit. With either of these on the battlefield, we win the game on the spot, because they both trigger whenever we copy a spell, not just when we cast it. Okay, that's one combo, but what about the other one, the Thousand Year Storm combo? Okay, buckle up, dear viewer, this is my favorite way to win a game of Magic. We need both Thousand Year Storm and Kess on board for this to work. We first cast an instant or sorcery. Doesn't matter what it is, we just cast it. We then cast Demonic Tutor, which is copied once thanks to Thousand Year Storm. We search up Insult Injury and Lightning Bolt. We cast Insult, which is our 3rd spell. This doubles all damage 3 times, or 2 to the 3rd, or times 8. We then use Kess's ability to cast Insult again from our graveyard, which makes it the 4th spell we've cast this turn, so damage is now doubled 7 times, or 2 to the 7th, or times 128. We then cast Lightning Bolt, our 5th spell of the turn. Each copy of Lightning Bolt now deals 384 damage. Delightful. The brackets are still in beta, but I'm going to try and ensure my videos don't overstep the boundaries. Because intent is very important with this system. You can build a powerful budget deck that doesn't run any game changers, but has enough control effects that you probably shouldn't be in a Bracket 2 game. You can also build a deck that is super silly but requires a bunch of tutors and good ramp to even make it remotely functional, and most Bracket 1 tables would allow it. In other words, try to be nice with your decks and don't just rely on game changers to determine how powerful your deck is. Oh, something else I wanted to discuss. There is a separate category that is beyond game changers: mass land denial. If you run a single one of these in your deck, the deck is instantly Bracket 4. Armageddon, Blood Moon, Back to Basics, we all know these. But recently, WotC removed Vorinclex Voice of Hunger from the Game Changers list. Which, I agree, it shouldn't be there. But in my opinion, he's mass land denial. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor CuteStuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alex, Borgie, Congo, Robert, Pye, Kazaris, Patrick, Tiz, Art, Richardson, Boomy, Osra, Justin, Golden Walker, Captain Hammer, Yori Sleech, Zach, Mr. Salty, and Hua. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.